Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Noelle and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel. And today I am excited to share a great book box with you, and this one has been sent to me for review. What's even more exciting is this is the first book that we selected for our book club, which we are running out of the Facebook group associated with this channel, which is called the No-Bot Nook, because viewers of the channel are called no-bots. It's a long story, I'll tell you another time. So we started what we're also calling the No-Bot Book Nook. Say that 5 times fast, it gets a little bit confusing. And we decided, because Authentic Books was the winner of our Nobody Awards last year for Best Book Subscription Box, to go ahead and use one of their selections. And what's really great about Authentic Books is every single month there are 3 different book selections in different genres. So we did a little vote over in the No-Bot Nook, and we chose this very popular thriller called All the Dangerous Things by Stacy Willingham. And of course it has our Authentic Books little seal on it. It is a nice hardcover, because most of the time we get hardcovers, which we absolutely love. And then of course we also got all of the fun things like a signed book plate that can go into the book, as well as a bookmark with a nice silky tassel and a quote that goes along with, "We are nothing but what we choose to believe, but it's all a mirage, bending and warping and shimmering in the distance, changing its form at any given second." It was a very interesting book, and we are actually going to be discussing it a little bit more in a live stream later tonight. As of time of filming this unboxing, I'm not exactly sure what time, because I'm letting the no-bots vote over there, and our fearless leader Priscilla and I are going to be doing a little discussion talking about what you all thought about it. If you didn't participate in the book club, you can still join in on the live stream and see how it kind of goes. Just know we're sort of working out the kinks. This is our first experience. We've had some discussion over in our Facebook group. Priscilla's been really great about asking us questions and breaking up the reading into 4 different sections, so we took a full month to do it. But I would love to see some of you all in the live stream. We might have some prizes. We'll see. We're still working out everything, but I wanted to share this book box with you so you can kind of see what it's all about, and again, to share the experience of our little book club that we started. And we're trying to decide if we're going to do this on a quarterly basis, in which case probably by now Authentic Books has actually released the selections for April, but then we wouldn't probably get the boxes until the end of April, so we'd probably be reading it in the month of May. That's just kind of how the schedule is probably going to work out. You can definitely join our book club and not necessarily get an Authentic Books box. I just think it's a great way to do it. I do have a special code if you are part of the book club, but I have a code that you can use to get 10% off anyway, which is of course always Noelle10, and I will leave that as well as a link for you in the description box below. So with the Authentic Books box, there are 3 different sizes depending on your budget and how many fun bookish things you want to go along with the book itself. So there is the mini box, which of course includes the book of your choice, and there's always again 3 choices. That is $42 a month plus shipping. I believe the shipping is still $9.99. You get the book, the bookmark, the booklet, the kind of guide that tells you how everything goes together inside, which includes a playlist as well as a recipe and a cocktail recipe, as well as a candle. Those are all made in-house, and they also do a donation. They are currently supporting the Adopt a Classroom Foundation. They have been for probably the past year and a half or so, and 5% of the proceeds go towards that. But inside we have, in this case, we have an author's note as well that I had tucked in there. And then this is how it's sort of categorized. So this is everything that comes in the mini box that I just told you about. And then if you do the next level up, which is $52 a month plus shipping, you also get these 2 items in the full experience, and that is going to be either a coffee option, a cocktail mixer, or a tea. I usually get the cocktail mixer. For whatever reason this time around when they were boxing mine up, I wound up with the tea, but it's very appropriate, and it's a tea company that I love, so don't mind. And then you're also going to get another item. And then if you want to do the premium experience, which is what I highly suggest if your budget allows, and that is $62 a month plus shipping, then you get these 2 additional items, which includes some delicious chocolate. So in the full box, you're going to get, of course, like I said, the book, as well as sort of a self-care item, a candle, and then all those fun like kind of paper things like the bookmark, the playlist, the recipes. Then with that next level up in the full box, you're going to get all of those things plus another self-care item, so 2 of those, plus the drink And then you're also going to get in the premium box a third self-care or lifestyle item. Sometimes it's not necessarily like Bath and Body, plus the chocolate. So you'll wind up with a total of 6 items in the premium box plus the book and all those little extras. So I didn't explain it super well, but hopefully you'll get the idea as we go through. And then sometimes there's actually page numbers or chapters that are associated with each of the items. There's also a key that tells you, if the color coding doesn't necessarily work for you, which items are in which boxes. And then it also tells you what senses it's supposed to be speaking towards. So obviously those self-care lifestyle items are the sense of touch. We have sense of sight with our book. We have the sense of smell with our lovely candle, taste with our drinks and our chocolate if you're getting the premium box. It's just a delightful experience. That's why she calls them experiences. So inside we have a new liner design, which I love this design. Sometimes when my box comes a little bit banged up, I'll just turn it inside out if I want to use it for storage. And this is such a pretty pattern with that teal. So let me go ahead and read the blurb to you. I went ahead and opened up the box because, again, I was reading it with our book club. So it's kind of fun that I get to for once, I get to actually read along and tell you about my experience using the items in the box. Well, not necessarily using them, but seeing what they went with, why they were inspired by the book. So it says, 1 year ago, Isabel Drake's life changed forever. Her toddler son, Mason, was taken out of his crib in the middle of the night while she and her husband were asleep in the next room. With little evidence and few leads for the police to chase, the case quickly went cold. However, Isabel cannot rest until Mason is returned to her, literally. Except for the occasional catnap or small blackout where she loses track of time, she hasn't slept in a year. Isabel's entire existence now revolves around finding him, but she knows she can't go on this way forever. In hopes of jarring loose a new witness or buried clue, she agrees to be interviewed by a true crime podcaster, but his interest in Isabel's past makes her nervous. His incessant questioning paired with her severe insomnia have brought up uncomfortable memories from her own childhood, making Isabel start to doubt her recollection of the night of Mason's disappearance, as well as second-guess who she can trust, including herself. But she is determined to figure out the truth no matter where it leads. Following up her instant New York Times bestseller, A Flicker in the Dark, Stacey Willingham delivers a totally gripping thriller about a desperate mother with a troubled past. So thrillers, I feel like, are not necessarily the best option for book club because there's not much you can discuss. Along the way, of course, people are making guesses where the twists and turns are going to happen. I usually feel like these days when you're reading a thriller, that first twist is usually like a red herring, or there's going to be like a twist where it doubles back. And in this case, she was definitely an unreliable narrator, Isabel, the main character. I definitely didn't trust her entirely, but I knew that that couldn't be the story and it wasn't that easy. So I sort of went into it being like, I'm going to distrust her and then she's going to gain my trust and I'm going to suspect someone else and then I'll probably wind up distrusting her again. I was pretty right on some things. There were some things that I felt like kind of got tied up a little bit too easily at the end, but I am going to do something different in this unboxing because I have read the book and because I'm going to be sharing it with you. I'm actually going to read some of the passages that go along with the gifts this time around, which I do with other book subscriptions, but some of them I noticed as I was kind of flipping through may have spoilers. So if this is a book that you're planning on reading still, maybe skip this part, and know that that's probably going to happen in our book discussion as well, but you could always come back to it as well and maybe join us for our next book club selection if we do one. So first of all, we have the book. I'm not going to read you this necessarily. It's just about the inspiration, but I think it would be more interesting this time around for you guys to hear about the items in the box. So our first touch item that is going to be in the mini boxes, the full boxes, and the premium boxes is a travel size shampoo. And this was inspired by chapter 22. Now, it wasn't necessarily in order the items in the chapters they were inspired by, but it's a citrus lavender shampoo by Plain Products. It says, our shampoo's vegan ingredients will gently bring your hair back to life and restore manageability, adding sheen and softness from ends to roots. Our shampoo is suitable for all hair types. Enjoy the luxurious, non-toxic lather. So I do like that, and I like the opportunity to learn about a new small business. Now with me, I have like a little pet peeve about pairings. Like when I get a shampoo, I really like to get the conditioner that goes along with it because I use a lot of conditioner. So I understand that that would have been a whole extra item, so not necessarily something that she could do in a book box, but that's something that I would have liked, or as a possible maybe add-on or something. So that was associated with chapter chapter 22, and I have it marked as page 119. They were really short chapters, so this is going back. So some of the chapters are then and some of them are now. This is back in her childhood. Her sister Margaret. Margaret clambers into bed first, her hair wet and smelling of lavender shampoo. We had a cold bath tonight, lowering ourselves in gently, our legs prickling when the ice water hit our skin. Because they live in the South, it's a very hot night, and she's remembering her younger sister, so of course the lavender shampoo. So that's a very literal inspiration. Then the next item that is in all of the boxes is the hand-poured soy candle from Authentic Books. What's cool about this one, it's called Midnight Marsh, and you guys have to remember she's doing curations for 3 different books every single month. Natisha does it all herself. I think it is so impressive. They did say that this was an exclusive author collaborated box, so this item especially. So this is associated with the end, chapter 45, so it's got this kind of nice dark label. It says Midnight Marsh has notes of soft jasmine and spicy amber and musk. Our candles are always hand poured in the Authentic Books studio using non-toxic ingredients. So I love that there's always a candle, because how fun is it to light your candle, to sit down to your reading. And again, we had our book club sort of divided into 4 sections, so I was like, that's enough for you to get through this whole candle. It smells really good. I thought it was going to be a little bit too musky and ambery and like dark. I like those kinds of intense scents, but there is a freshness to it as well because of the jasmine, which I really do like quite a bit. So chapter 45, I feel like it was towards the end of the book, so I have it marked as page 35, and I couldn't totally remember. This is another then chapter as well, and this is probably one. So she's talking about her sister again. Every single time I dream of her. I dream of the 2 of us outside, the glow of the moon making our nightgowns shine as we stand at the edge of the water. I dream of her hand in mine, fingers tight, her neck twisting as she stares at me in the darkness. Her eyes wide, trusting, before she turns back around, faces the marsh, and then she takes a slow step forward, her toes sending a ripple through the water as I stand back and watch her go. So it's very ominous, right? This like dark marsh that's like in their backyard essentially, is swallowing her sister. It's very, very creepy. But luckily the candle is not that creepy. All right, let's move on to the things that would be in the full and premium boxes as well. You could have gotten a cocktail mix from Portland Syrups, which was a vanilla rooibos, which was what I would normally get. So here's more pages. Here's the makers. They feature one of the small businesses, our note from Natisha, our book playlist with a Spotify QR code, and then we have our book cocktail recipe and our story eats. Priscilla made the praline pecan trifle and it looked delicious. She also made the hipster iced tea. I was going to make that just to make our live stream a little bit more fun, because I tend to talk a lot more when I'm a little bit tipsy, but I'm going to be able to make the tea. Now the coffee is always by a company called Sunday Mornings. It was an Irish cream, which I thought was nice, but I got the tea this time around, which is from Hale Tea Company, and I just love this box. I've gotten it before. It is the Savannah Grey, or the Savannah Earl Grey, which I thought was appropriate. So I will be a little more literary and enjoy a nice bag of tea when we are doing our live stream, hopefully. So I love Earl Grey tea. It's just so lovely. And of course, this whole story takes place in Savannah. So it was the perfect selection with those like lovely drooping trees that also kind of have like a marshy feeling to them. All right, so touch number 2, that would be again in the full and premium boxes, that was inspired by chapter 9, which so there's a page 51 that talks briefly about coffee, but I'm actually going to read something from the first couple of pages that I thought made more sense with this gift. So this is from a company called Old Soul Company. I believe they're actually the featured maker this time around. So kind of a nice rough cut coffee bar. So it says, a must-have by the kitchen sink, triple brewed coffee and a spicy blend of essential oils enhanced with fresh ground coffee. This bar will clean and deodorize your hands, getting rid of odors such as garlic and onions. Caffeine is also good for your skin, so don't forget to try it in the shower too. So you can just see all the coffee grounds in there, and man, it smells like a spicy coffee, but it's like the spice is the soap, you know, that's actually going to make you clean. But I love that. It's a really good idea in terms of getting all of those intense kitchen smells off your hands. It says, thank you for choosing to purchase our all-natural handcrafted soap. And it just tells you how to prolong the use of it by using a good draining soap dish. So we got this nice one. So obviously inspired by the idea of coffee, or drinking coffee, which she does as a insomniac. So we had on page 51, she's thinking back to when she first started working before she met her husband, and she meets this gal at the office, and she says, I remember thinking everything about her was perfect that day. The surrealism of my dream come true painting everything in a warm white glow, her blonde ringlet curls and the way her talon fingernails tapped against a glass coffee mug filled with a latte dispensed from the office coffee maker. But I thought that this passage at the beginning of the book was more appropriate for the soap. So it says, she's making some coffee, obviously, but it wasn't the coffee I needed. I know that now. It was the routine, the familiarity, comfort in a cup, like those dehydrated noodles you splash faucet water onto before popping them into the microwave and calling it a meal. But I don't care about that anymore. Comfort, routine. Comfort is a luxury I can no longer afford. And routine, well, I haven't had that in a long time either. Now I just need the caffeine. I need to stay awake, because she kind of drifts off into these half sleeps because she's so consumed with finding her son, which is totally understandable. I did think it was really interesting how they used the true crime angle and her speaking at true crime conventions as like the entry point. I feel like it's very trendy to sort of be meta and have like true crime as like a framing for your thriller these days. Like everybody's a true crime podcaster or is at a convention or becomes the victim of like a true crime story that they never thought it would happen to them. And I don't mind, as someone who does really, I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts. It's like my favorite genre. So some of this I feel like maybe was just me being defensive, like I'm not like that, but it is definitely very popular culture, very on trend in terms of the true crime fascination that a lot of the population has. All right, moving on to touch number 3, and this was really cool. This is an example of where it wasn't really a Bath and Body self-care item, but so unique and so cool, and a reason to definitely get the premium box if you can. It came in this little mesh bag. It is a William Morris cream oyster shell trinket dish by Be My Oyster, which I haven't pulled out yet, but look how beautiful it is. They did this gold edging and then they like layered this print into it. These are handmade in the UK using a 12-step process, using a decoupage technique, and hand paint the gold edges. Each shell is totally unique. So of course you can use that for all kinds of things. It would make a great soap dish, but it's not a great draining soap dish. But I just think that is so cool. But what a neat ring dish, trinket dish. I love trinket dishes. And of course oysters do play a part in the story. It is chapter 6, and this is, I don't think I'm reading very much in terms of like sort of the current day chapters, which some of our readers in the Nook noticed that this is all taking place like in 2023, which is very cool to have it be that real time, sort of like as if this was actually happening to someone. So chapter 6, let's see, where did I have that? So that was page 36. And this is when she first met her husband, I believe. Yes. I remember ambling up to a little spot by the Savannah River, my hands punched into my pockets and the smell of smoke and jalapenos making my nostrils flare. Then I walked up to the outdoor bar, my breath coming out in puffs. $15 for all you can eat, the bartender had said. He smelled like salt water and marsh mud and the sour traces of warm spilt beer. Comes with a shucker and towel. I fished out my wallet and handed him a 20, exchanging the cash for a blue moon, a little knife, and a bucket full of oysters steamed over a grate of hot coals. But once I swung around, I immediately knocked into the man behind me, sending my beer flying. I am so sorry, I said, trying to stop the rest of it from sloshing down my wrist. I looked at his jacket, at the frothy liquid dripping down his chest. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. So, little meet cute, she runs into him at this oyster bar, and then of course, turns out it's her boss. It's kind of like Grey's Anatomy, right? Like, so they meet up, nothing really happens, but there's definitely attraction as they eat their oysters, and then she shows up for her first day of work, and oh my goodness, it's my boss, who's married, even more scandalous. And then finally, our taste number 2, which of course is only in the premium boxes, is our chocolate, and that was associated with chapter 15, and that was page 86, if I can find it. So we got, I am very excited because I love this chocolate company. It is Moonstruck. We got a dark chocolate praline pecan and ginger bar, and I love that you can actually see the bar. I didn't have to open it up for you. So it says, spicy crystallized ginger and crunchy pecan pulled together by gravitational force, merging into dark chocolate. Yes, amen. That sounds amazing. I love crystallized ginger. So this is her thinking back to her father, who was basically like a politician and left her and her sister and her mom at home. And we learn later that her mom was really struggling. So it says, leaving again every Monday morning. He usually brings Margaret and me some kind of present when he's back. Candied pralines or boiled peanuts or bags of thick, juicy scuppernongs that he picks up from a roadside vendor on his drive back from the airport. A reminder of his love for us that has slowly started to feel more like an apology or a bribe. That's a bribe I'd be happy with. But I thought this was a fun book. It wasn't like my favorite thriller ever, but the experience of reading it along with the other Nobots in the Nook was really great. And I really loved seeing how the gifts were reflected or were inspired by the novel this time around. You guys let me know in the comments below if you have enjoyed this book or anything else by this author, if you like this kind of book subscription, what your favorite item was, and please feel free to join us over in the live stream, even if you're watching it on the replay, whether or not you were in our book club or whether or not you read the book. I'd love to see you there, and hopefully I'll see you in our next one. I'll see you soon in my next unboxing either way.